Ah, Italy. There's something magical about the place. And sometimes when you can't be there, the next best thing to being there is a car.
Listen to this. Sorry, neighbors.
I love the sound of an Italian V8, but she has a certain way with words.
It's unsettling and beguiling at the same time.
Do you miss Italy?
Always.
This is a little taste of Italy today. We're driving the Ferrari F8 Spider.
We never drove Ferraris in Italy.
Yeah, but doesn't this remind you of Italy? I mean, listen.
Darling, I remember being stuck in traffic. I don't remember ever moving like that anywhere.
Well, this is the antidote to traffic. And in Malibu, there is actually more traffic than one would like when one is driving a 710 horsepower car. What do you know about this particular Ferrari?
Nothing.
You know nothing about this Ferrari. Let me tell you about the F8 Spider.
The F8, like its coupe counterpart called the Tributo, is powered by a twin-turbocharged 3.9-liter V8. But here, it's nestled deep beneath the two-part folding hardtop mechanism. Power is routed through a 7-speed dual clutch, and drive modes are controlled by a small metal dial called a manettino.
Is that a pasta?
Sounds like a pasta, doesn't it?
Uh-oh, maybe that was too much. Let's kill the music. Besides, I know you want to hear that engine.
Okay, I'll dial it down a little bit. This car begs to be driven fast. It really does.
If you drift this car, I'm getting out.
I think I just did.
Do it again. I'm not kidding. I'm gonna get out and I'm gonna hitchhike.
Okay.
Despite the fact that it is 710 horsepower, you will find that there is surprisingly manageable horsepower. Everything is a little bit hair trigger though. You know, it's a very responsive car. It's very sharp. I don't have to turn the steering wheel much to change the direction of the car. It's a quick steering ratio. Everything's so direct, but it doesn't quite have the exact same sharpness as the coupe
Are there
does.
those bags, you know, that you get like in the airplane?
Are you sick already? Come on!
You lost me at hair trigger.
How are you going to handle the Amalfi Coast if you can't handle Malibu?
The Amalfi Coast crawls. Don't think I'm dumb.
This is the Spider, and it's almost criminal not to put the top down. So, it takes 14 seconds to lower the roof, and you can do it at speeds up to 28 miles an hour. Now this revs to 8,000 RPM, but it doesn't feel like 8,000 RPM. It comes really
like
quickly.
It's me.
I think the revs come really quickly. Like I said, the steering is super quick. It's really easy to drive this car quick.
Or can you drive it slow?
That's a challenge I don't feel like taking on just at this moment. I'm having way too much fun. I was really skeptical of the turbocharged engine in this car because its predecessor, the 458, has one of the most beautiful, evocative, haunting exhaust notes of any car I've ever driven. The Speciale even more so. 3.9 liters is really small for a V8, but what it benefits from that small size is the fact that it can spin very quickly. Those little pistons. So when the 488 came around, which is what this car has evolved from, the hardcore Ferrarista were scandalized that it was a twin-turbo engine. To counter that, they made a lot of engineering choices to sort of counteract the fact that it's a turbo. So there's all these things that give it almost no turbo lag. Very responsive, as you can feel. There's a lot of anti-lag technology. There's a lot of technology to make it sound less like a turbo and give it more of an engine note. make it feel generally alive, because turbos tend to muffle the engine sound and not have the same characteristics as a naturally aspirated engine. Are you okay? Am I missing something? Why are we not connecting right now?
Because I'm terrified.
Terrified? Come on! You're gonna drive this car and you're gonna love it. You're gonna love this car.
Order.
Yes, it is gonna be an order. I'm gonna drive it for a little while, okay? You're gonna get used to it, and you're gonna get the confidence and the joie de vie.
I have confidence in joie de vie.
And what do you not like about this experience? This is like life affirming.
On your way to your death.
Ah.
Fix it, Wasif. Fix it.
Maybe I came in a little hot in the beginning.
I think you did. I think
Okay.
you did. Being sideways in the first 3 minutes.
In my defense, the tires were cold and the engine was not. Ferrari says that the Spider buyer, the people who buy open-air Ferraris, are a very different clientele from the coupe buyers. They're more likely to have a passenger. I don't know if that passenger is likelier to get sick, but they're less likely to take the car.
Or not return for the pleasure of the passenger seat.
Oh no, do not say that. They're less likely to take their cars on a racetrack, not surprising. But, you know, I'm not feeling a lot of compromise with this car. I'm really, really having a great time on this road.
You know, if this was any other car and you were taking it at this speed, it just wouldn't work.
Now, humorously enough, there is a setting for suspension called bumpy road.
Does it make it bumpy?
I know, it's very counterintuitive. I'm gonna set it to bumpy road. There, now we're in bumpy road, which should smooth it out a little bit. It actually feels smoother, doesn't it? What do you think of the engine sound?
Debilitating.
Debilitating? Oh my gosh! Not enlivening? Not emboldening?
I'm not the old one in this equation.
Do you really expect me to drive a Ferrari slow?
I just expect you not to drive a Ferrari sideways.
Now, I have a little bit of disappointment with this particular Ferrari because you cannot see the engine. It's covered in this complex structure that opens and closes with the hardtop, and it's also a little paradoxical that it's a hardtop because that is heavier than a soft top would have been, so maybe it's not a purist's version of what a convertible could be for Ferrari. But I like to think that it's a little bit accommodating for passengers such as yourself.
In what aspect?
In that, I think this is more comfortable than it could be.
You know, it's actually pretty comfortable. The comfort isn't an issue with this car.
What's she trying to say?
Now, it doesn't have a whole lot of bells and whistles. My seat is manual. It is a carbon fiber bucket. And it is on the firm side, but, you know, once you get used to it, it's actually pretty usable. But there's no seat heaters. There's no kind of fancy stuff. I will say that once the power band gets to about 4,000 RPM, it gets really excited about revving. And it's really easy to get to redline quicker than you think.
You know, it's a great car if you don't want your significant other to say a word. Between the engine and the responsiveness, you're pretty much guaranteed that they're going to shut up.
You've been weirdly silent this entire drive.
I can't say anything.
Come on, talk to me.
I'm just trying to keep my eyes open.
Are you not having enough Dolce Vita?
I have plenty of La Dolce Vita.
Let the record stand that this is a very rare car that has elicited illicit language.
Is she finally relaxed? relaxing.
I'm actually pretty wowed by the capabilities.
Yes!
It is quite effortless. And once the tires are warmed up, it really lays the power down well. What do you think of this little screen that you have here?
I haven't taken a moment to look at it. I'm too busy looking ahead.
I think you might become barfomatic if you stared at that too long. Now, it is a touch screen. You can play with it. You can see the settings that the driver has.
I can't see anything.
You can get a little GPS thingy. You can get the media setting.
Very useful.
I haven't
You're
listened-
airborne. Congratulations. that screaming sound. Do I win something?
I thought that was like the turbocharger wine I was hearing.
No,
A
it
little
was.
wastegate.
It was the turbocharger wine. It seemed like the angels were coming.
See, you're smiling more now. You're liking it more, right? Right? No, not so much. I want you to like it.
Why?
Don't you like it? I don't know. It's like I get a prize if you like it. I mean, we can't like make you like terrified every video, can we? Would it help if you drove it? If you were in control? If you were behind the wheel?
I don't know.
The wheel with the shift lights that go ding, 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 ding. I think you should drive this car.
Oh, brother. Why do
Please.
you always rope me into
Pretty
this?
please? Will you drive it? Drive it. For Daddy.
Honestly, if this doesn't win her over, nothing will. Have I mentioned she's a ballerina?
It's not awkward.
It's not as easy as I thought it would be.
Oh. Are you ready? Come on, a yellow Ferrari. This is great. Let's do it. First off, before we go, everything you need to know is on the steering wheel. The turn signals are right here. Drive mode settings here. Windshield wipers here. High beams right there. Bumpy road setting. And of course, you got paddle shifters up and down. Do you like all of this right here in one spot?
I don't know until I try it.
All right, let's try. This is your first Ferrari drive, isn't it? Woo! All right, let's roll. This is sport mode, which is really, really mild.
I'm not gonna lie, the suspense was killing me.
If I were to say it drives itself, would that be fair?
We do have gravity in our advantage here. We're going downhill, so it kind of is driving itself, but it is easy, right?
If you're an idiot, you could drive this.
Now, a big part of controlling this car is the gear selection, and in automatic mode, it's going to upshift really early and not really give you access to the power. What I'm going to do is take it out of auto and put it into manual and ask you to just hit that left paddle shifter.
Come on.
And again. There we go.
Oh, that sounds pretty.
Now, isn't this totally different?
Yeah, it's totally different because we're not going 90 miles an hour on a mountain pass. You know, the thing that I never expected to learn from driving cars with you? You're the best driver I know, but I really prefer to drive.
Oh, ouch. That kind of bums me out.
Well, it's so fun.
Well, it's fun for me to watch you interact with a type of car that you've never interacted with before.
Talk to me about the gear shifts.
Your first paddle shifter experience, I remember, was a little traumatic. It was the Maserati Spider, and it was their infamously rough, difficult to manage Cambio Corsa, which you had to interact a lot with it. You had to feather the throttle and shift just right and wait a moment and kind of like it does this thing. And paddle shifters have advanced so much now. This dual clutch 7-speed really shifts quickly and smoothly. You don't even have to think about it. So hit the downshift again. See, it's easy, right?
Very. Too easy.
Down again. Now you've got the power. up, you don't even really feel the gear shift. Now, part of that is because we're in sport mode. If we were in CT off, it would have slammed you in the back and transferred the power really abruptly. But in this mode, you don't even think about it, really.
So it's so interesting because you just feel every little tiny thing that the car is doing.
Isn't it hyper responsive?
So do I downshift or do I...
No, you're good right now. You're at 3,000 RPM going downhill. I don't think you want to go a lot faster. So let's
How do
keep
you
it
know?
here. I would love to see you go faster.
I was joking.
Now, I will say from the passenger seat, I can feel every little input that you're doing.
Yeah, I feel that. I feel any kind of wasted movement of my hands, I feel transferred kind of immediately.
Yeah, it's kind of like neural.
You just want to control your hands almost better. I don't know if that makes sense.
It does actually make perfect sense. I mean,
You aren't used to having it be so precise. So,
yeah, and there's like a mind-body connection to what you're thinking and what the car is doing. There's this sort of telepathy. And it's almost like the more zen you are about it, the better driver you are. Because if you think about it too much, you can overdo the inputs. You have to be really just kind of almost like subliminal in your control of the car. Rev it, rev it, rev it, rev it. Now shift. Now, what do you think of the lights on the steering wheel?
I feel like I'm getting pulled over by my own car.
They are red and blue.
I'm sorry, officer.
I do know how fast I was going.
And so do you.
The red light was flashing. You can upshift. And so it goes. Doesn't it make you want to just go faster and faster and faster?
I see why you find it irresistible, but I was still terrified.
Fair enough. I'll give you that. You can upshift again. And again. And one more.
So it's kind of beautiful, that sonorous. You hear it so much better with the top down.
The engine is right there. And the fact that the engine is in the middle makes it feel ultra responsive in the corners because the polar moment of inertia is in the middle. It's like when you're dancing and all of your body parts are in, you feel that kind of ease of rotation.
You know, you just want to go faster.
You do.
I do see that. That is weird.
Doesn't it
kind
just
of
suck you in?
pulls. You're like, oh, just a little fast, just a little. It was so easy, just a little bit more, just a little bit more, and then suddenly, really going quite fast.
Downshift now.
That's the best sound.
Get even better. Downshift again.
That like gurgly. Wow, that's just like impossible. How that line is just right there. Okay.
So I would say this is less of a GT car, a Grand Touring car, and more of a sports car.
Yeah.
It just begs for canyons. It doesn't beg for long hauls.
No, you want to be able to dance with it.
You do
You
want
want
to
to be
dance.
able to use its abilities. And that straight line is like, well, yeah, I can do that, and so can anybody else. But the corners are where this car is for me. Is this how you fall in love every day? Oh,
Do you want one?
I want an old one. I think the new one is just so much tech for me. I wouldn't mind to like learn on something a little more basic, like a Dino or something.
Oh, like a Dino. So maybe we just need to get you driving more Ferraris and figure out which one is yours. There is something about a Ferrari. Their cars work really well, and I think there's something intangible that makes them just feel special.
They're pretty irresistible.
I am so relieved that you see the light. I'm so glad that you like it.
It just works impossibly well.
feel connected to the machine?
I feel like it's reading my mind. And then my mind should be better.
Well, it does encourage you to become a better, sharper, more precise driver. And I think that's maybe part of the appeal, is that it gives you this sort of precision level that may not be relaxing, it may not be cosseting, but it sure is involving, and it sure does have these intangibles that make you really love driving.
I mean,
So there you have it, the Ferrari F8 Spider. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like
and subscribe.